Mario Wonder is an amazing game, but let's be honest, it's actually pretty short. I mean, seriously, not even trying to go all that hard, you could probably beat the game in just about 3 to 4 days. And with that said, a lot of people are wanting even more of this Mario Wonder goodness, because that's not the problem. The game itself is amazing, but we kind of want more levels and more things to do with some of these wacky wonder events and characters and enemies within this game. And already people are modding the game, putting in some crazy things, including people that are literally building their own levels in the game. And the more I look at these mods and watch people creating levels, it makes me hunger to create my own levels in Super Mario Bros. Wonder. But of course, I can't do half of the stuff that I've been seeing. Like, this is just not possible for most of us. But you know what? We don't have to do any of that, because there is something that exists out there right now that allows us to do the same thing, but at a lesser capacity. Yep, that is Mario Maker. Would you believe me if I told you it's been over 4 years since Super Mario Maker 2? Yeah, the game came out in June of 2019, which is 4.5 years ago, which is kind of insane when you put it into perspective, because it's just like we're actually technically due for a new Mario Maker game if Nintendo is even working on one. Now, let's not even begin to act like none of us have thought about the idea of Mario Wonder being in Mario Maker, because I think it popped in all of our heads as we started to see all these awesome mechanics and brand new enemies. Our eyes got bright, because when we started looking at the future of Mario Maker, it was kind of getting dull, because what else would they have had? I mean, you have Mario Brothers, Mario Brothers 3, Super Mario World, new Super Mario Brothers, and even a 3D game in Mario 3D World and Land as a game style in a 2D Mario game. So what's left outside of some games like maybe Mario Land and Mario Brothers 2? There wasn't a lot, and a lot of people were trying to think of what they could do to make another Mario Maker besides just adding a couple of more mechanics and obviously some more enemies. They had to do something a lot more, expansive, and a lot of people, myself included, was thinking that they could possibly do something like a 3D Mario Maker or Mario Maker 3D. As I still think that would be a really cool idea to do something not as ambitious as the modern 3D Mario games, but something along the lines of the floating worlds in Super Mario 64, like Rainbow Ride, where everything's just floating in the sky, putting some platforms for people to do some cool platforming challenges and place a star wherever you want people to collect it would be really cool, and I still, to this day, think it's an awesome idea. But let's not get ahead of ourselves and go down the whole 3D Mario Maker tangent again. We're talking about 2D games, and a Mario Maker 3 would have to have a brand new game style in order to really sell it. I mean, a lot of people would still buy it if it was the same game styles with just a lot more added, but let's face it, they're going to need a new game style if they're going to come up with a Mario Maker 3. And now with a brand new 2D Mario game that changes 2D Mario and what we've been in the dark ages of 2D Mario for so many years with new Super Mario Brothers, Wonder finally came in and changed that and gave us something super unique. And now all I can think of is playing Super Mario Brothers Wonder, but in Mario Maker, where we have endless levels, endless wonder events, and fun to be had at an endless scale. So today we're going to go over how Mario Wonder would actually work in Mario Maker 3, and how they could actually implement this and all the ideas that are right there on the table for us to play around with. So of course there are going to be some slight spoilers as we're going to go over some of the enemies in Mario Wonder and some of the mechanics, so you are being warned right now. So almost all of these elements of this video are going to be very easy to implement in Mario Maker, just because this game was made with so much love and care. There's so much to choose from. I mean, seriously, just starting with themes, the Pipe Rock Plateau is an awesome grassland style of area that could be the first level theme, or maybe even kind of a jungle forest theme like you have with the Piranha Plants on Parade would work really well as the first couple. Not to mention some of the nighttime stages as I go along these, because the snow theme has some beautiful night and day themes as well that would work perfect in Mario Maker. Of course, you have your underwater theme, which looks pretty consistent with what we've seen in past 2D Mario games. For crying out loud, hopefully this game has a beach theme, because there are beach themes in past 2D Mario games as well, and they just need to be included. You have the Shining Falls area, which is a really cool deep underground labyrinth with waterfalls, which would be a beautiful thing to add as well. You have a beautiful purple night sky for Sun-Baked Desert at night, and a really good day version as well for your desert themes. You have a really cool fall themed forest with giant mushrooms in the background. The night theme could be more of the swampy version, which is all purple with purple mushrooms in the background. They could even throw in the ruins from the fungi mines. And you have a really cool outdoor and indoor version of Deep Magma Bog. And no, I didn't forget, you still have your underground theme, which was only there for a couple of levels in Mario Wonder. Then of course you still got your airship levels, which we had a couple of those, and some Bowser's Castle levels. Now if they wanted to add some of the other extra Bowser Castle levels that we seen towards the end, where you had some of the outdoor landscape included as well, they could also do that. And shoot, maybe something that would make this work is maybe in Mario Maker 3, instead of just a day and a night style for each theme, we can actually have like 2 or 3 just different versions of each theme. For instance, 2 or 3 different looking jungles, 2 or 3 different looking snow areas. It's a lot, but it could happen. But I think it's safe to say, theme-wise, it's a lock. Now we can move into the actual course parts, like the objects and gizmos that actually make the courses work. And for the most part, this game works a lot like the past Mario Makers. As you can see, you can put down some, little platform elements, like you can see right here behind Mario. You have this platform that's kind of part of the background. That's stuff that we've already had before, but it looks like this one actually has a slope, and maybe we can put slopes on our background element platforms as well. Or maybe we can actually have pipes that take us into the background like some of them do in Super Mario Wonder. That would be really cool, and maybe putting like separate planes of objects in the background that we can work with, giving us 2 planes, making our levels longer and more intricate. Note blocks can literally just be changed from the white ones to these new multicolored ones. Maybe we could place them in a way to make them play certain sounds and themes. You could have the giant ice block machines or the crazy poles from Fluff Puff Peaks, which are really cool because not only can you climb and slide down, but you can even dangle from them or grab onto other ones in horizontal or vertical fashions, which would be really cool for creating levels. You could have the cool escalator platforms that zoom you in one direction, placing them vertical and horizontal. Not to mention you can ride and hang for them, which I can already see adding to some really cool level design. You can have the rain clouds, which allows you to swim up the waterfalls, which would be pretty cool. Back to the escalator platforms, you could even tie them to on and off switches, which is in Mario Wonder as well, including on and off platforms, which you could place down, which we already have in Mario Maker, so that works. Including new designs for keys and doors, which are also in Mario Wonder. I don't know how well the cosmic goop would actually work. Maybe you can actually draw a box and it stays within that confined area. You could also place down some of that wubba jelly and swim through it the weird way you can in the game. You also have these invisible block platforms that only appear when you get close that you could place down. And the Deep Magma Bog has tons of other really cool things, like these really cool fire spinners that go around a path that you can draw. You have lava pillars that can raise and that you could place platforms on in order to stand on them. Skeleton platforms that can move, or even the pulleys that come out of the wall that you can pull in order to make them move. Or even the igniting magma blocks that you can even extinguish with the pots of water that you could have in Mario Maker 3 as well. Those are just some of the really cool objects that could be added in Mario Maker, and I think a lot of these just fit in perfectly. Once again, just like the game's themes would. This could go without saying, but I'm sure there's going to be somebody that gets mad that I didn't bring it up, so let's just bring up the items real quick. There's 3 brand new items in Super Mario Bros. Wonder, starting off with the Elephant Apple, which turns your character into an elephant. Now, once again, there's not much you have to do here. I'm assuming that all the characters will be playable in Mario Maker 3 as well. That would be really cool. And obviously, you can turn Mario, Luigi, Peach, Daisy, Toads, and Toadette into elephant versions, which is really cool, allowing them to break certain blocks, push certain things, maybe allowing us to push those pipes around like we could in the actual game and some of the bigger things, or maybe pick up some of the bigger items like the big shells in the game, and obviously using our trunks and getting water. You also have the bubble flower in this game, which allows us to blow bubbles, which could actually be for a lot of Kaizo levels. I can see people making Kaizo levels, blowing the bubble out and then platforming off of them to get to the other side, and just being a complete absolute difficulty of a mess, but at the same time, it still would be a cool item to have in Mario Maker. Of course, we have the drill allowing us to dig into the terrain or even dig up into the ceiling, which could make for some really cool levels as well. Like I said, none of these items would really break the game or change it all that much, so they definitely could incorporate them. I mean, they're just abilities at the end of the day, so this is probably one of the easiest things for them to do, but I don't see any of these giving them a hard time. Obviously, you still have your mushrooms and your 1-ups, and you still also have things like power stars, which can be added as well, but for the most part, this is a very easy addition. Once again, enemies is going to be such a high note here because there's so many new ones. Of course, we still have our Goombas and Koopa Troopas and Boos and stuff like that, but we also have tons of new ones like the Skedaddlers, which can actually shoot seeds at you and run away from you. Maybe you can actually hide an item in one of them like a key, and they keep running away from you, and it's your job to catch up to it and stop it so you can get that key. There's not really too many enemies that we can ride, and they're just big brute powerhouses that can bust through blocks, so the Bull Rush enemies in Mario Wonder would definitely fit that bill. And yes, you have these new snail creatures as well. You have these enemies called Outmaways, which can actually kick shells or ice blocks at you. You have the new enemies called the Smorgans, which have different sizes and kind of just either go back and forth in a small area or just remain stationary in the sky. Just kind of some big cloud enemies. The Conks, which are a new type of thwomp enemies that move back and forth before they land, or they can even go upward as well. You have Sugar Stars, which move in a weird wave-like pattern, Copycats that literally copycat you whenever you jump, and Anglefish that blast out of the water whenever you approach. You can have those potted snakes, or maybe even the Mumsies from the desert area. There's a whole lot more, including a whopping 3 brand new bullet bill types that I'm not gonna really get into since it's at the very end of the game and some people probably still haven't finished it yet, but there's just a lot on this list that would make for some really cool enemies. So those new enemies paired with the old classic ones would work really well in Mario Maker 3. Now, one of the things that we need to talk about is the most important thing of a Mario Wonder game style for Super Mario Maker, and that is the Wonder Events and the Wonder Flower. How are we going to have Wonder Events? How would this actually work? Well, I think there's actually a possibility. There are over 60 Wonder Events within Super Mario Bros. Wonder, but I don't think they need to add, obviously, every single one. What if they had a preset list of about 15 to 20 Wonder Events that you could set for your stage, really making the variety of this game stand out? Odds are they won't have any that are like super extra, like some of the kind of parade events like Piranha Plants on Parade, but stuff like the Bull Rush Stampede where you can have just bulls rush on the screen, or giant spike balls following the player, maybe the perspective shift one, putting them on the back wall or just free falling from the sky would work really well as well. Even the spacewalk one where you're kind of just floating in space would work. And honestly, the transformational ones are ones that would probably work the easiest, like turning into a Goomba or the Wubba. Or even the Hoppycat where we jump up a vertical level, or turning into the spike ball and just rolling through a level. There's a lot of options for the Mario Wonder events, and I feel like they could incorporate some of them that would be easy just to slap onto a Wonder Flower and place somewhere in our level. I think there should be an option to also add a badge, and this would be placed on the level based on the creator of that level, where the creator can pick one badge that all players must use for that stage specifically, which would be really cool. Or maybe they can leave it to an open badge, where the player gets to choose what badge they want before going into that level. That could be really cool. Imagine designing a stage based around a specific badge, and it tells you right before entering the level what badge you're going to have equipped. I think this would make for better working and better themed levels. For instance, having an underwater level might actually be more appealing now if you can actually equip the dolphin kick, or maybe even having the grappling vine on a vertical level, making it nothing but walls to grab onto and really no platforms. That would be really cool. Or making a level where you're completely invisible the entire time and everyone has to use that badge. That would be awesome. So I think there's a lot of really cool things that they could do with badges, and they could just simply make it a quick equip thing that everyone has to use, or maybe you can choose your own badge. After playing most of the badge challenges in Super Mario Wonder, I felt like lots of these stages could easily be made by players in a Mario Maker game, so I think these would be incorporated and added in a very smooth way. At least this goes for the action badges. And the last category we have here is bosses, which at first I thought would be very hard to implement because there really aren't a lot of variety at all in this game. In fact, it's really just Bowser Jr. and Bowser, but that's not a big problem considering the fact that the 3D world style actually only has Boom Boom and Cat Bowser, so it's kind of in the same boat. As far as what they would have him do, as he does do some slightly different things based on the wonder events of the room that he's in, and I will not be showing the other boss battles here just in case you want to stay away from spoilers, but as far as what Bowser Jr. is able to do himself outside of the wonder events, he can get big and small, he can also duplicate himself, and he can throw like these weird face ghost things out of his bib. So yeah, there's some options for him. At the same time, it wouldn't be anything super crazy, and you know, at the end of the day, I know we all want some better boss battle options for Mario Maker. You probably wouldn't get them here, but this is a game where you're actually going to get tons of Wonder Flower events, badges, and crazy things that you probably wouldn't get in other game themes, so this isn't a big loss. Mario Wonder is a brilliant game that would have endless possibilities within a game like Super Mario Maker. And like I said, with us being just about 4.5 years since the last Mario Maker, being Mario Maker 2 in 2019, I really do think that the next Mario Maker could have some Wonder experience as well. I mean, at the end of the day, they still do need a new game style if they want to continue Mario Maker, and as well as that game series sells, I really don't see it ending, so who knows? Who knows what Nintendo's up to? Maybe they will go the 3D route, maybe they will just add a Mario Mario Wonder game style, we're just gonna have to wait and see. But let me know in the comments down below what you would like in a Mario Wonder game style, and do you actually think that this could work? Let me know what you think down below, give me your ideas, but before we go, make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this content. It helps out a lot, and a lot of you guys watching this right now are not yet subscribed. So just stop what you're doing, it'll only take a second, but thank you so much for tuning in, and like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See you guys.